The Indiana Fever hired Stephanie White on Friday as coach of Caitlyn Clark and Company, a move that had been speculated for weeks. White, 47, has spent the past 2 seasons as head coach of the Connecticut Sun. She was named the 2023 WNBA Coach of the Year and an All-Star Game coach in 2023. She led the Sun to back-to-back semifinals appearances, compiling a 55-25 regular season record and a 7-7 postseason record. I am incredibly proud and honored to return home to Indiana and lead the Fever during such a pivotal moment in this franchise's history, as well as during such an important time throughout women's athletics, White said in a release. This franchise has and always will be committed to winning, and I look forward to working every day to help deliver another WNBA title to the greatest basketball fans in the world. Indiana Fever guard Caitlyn Clark certainly doesn't need to rely on her $76,535 base WNBA salary for the 2024 season to make ends meet. The former Iowa Hawkeyes superstar was projected to have made millions back in college due to the NCAA's nil, name, image, likeness rule that allowed her to profit off her basketball success in the form of endorsements and sponsorships. She has parlayed that into multiple lucrative brand deals and partnerships during her professional basketball career, including an 8-year, $28 million deal she inked with Nike earlier this year. Clark's not needing the money is surely a big reason why she hasn't been so quick to join the Unrivaled basketball league and the record-breaking salary that comes with it, as many of her peers. In another, allegedly, insanely lucrative way that Clark makes money has recently come to light on social media, being a keynote speaker. Caitlyn was seen speaking at an in-person business event on Thursday. In the wake of this, a LinkedIn post from Dawn Steinbrugge, who is the founder and CEO of Agecroft Partners, went viral on X because it included him writing, "We were told Clark's virtual speaking fee started at $100,000, which was over our budget. She makes more in a 30-minute virtual meeting than she does over a 40-game WNBA season with her team." X user at CLRKSZN took a screenshot of this and reposted it on X, noting that Clark has already done 4 in-person speaking engagements this offseason, which would presumably net a total of at least $400,000. Then it came out that Clark also appeared at a virtual marketing webinar yesterday. This is the second virtual event she has done this offseason, which would mean she has made at least $600,000 this offseason based on speaking engagements alone. While this alleged $100,000 speaking fee is by no means confirmed based on that one LinkedIn post, there's no question the 22-year-old is getting paid a pretty penny for speaking up this offseason. White was a Fever assistant in 2012 when Indiana won its only WNBA championship. Fever President of Basketball Operations Kelly Krauskopf described White as part of the fabric of this franchise, both as a former player and as a member of our championship coaching staff, so I'm quite familiar with her elite basketball IQ and leadership style. I am confident there is no one who better understands our culture or is more equipped to lead our group of players to the next level. With the 2025 Fever, White will inherit one of the most exciting athletes in all of sports in 2024 Rookie of the Year Clark. Clark, along with 2023 Rookie of the Year Aaliyah Boston, is a dynamic scorer and passer who has helped lift the WNBA to an unprecedented level of popularity. The Fever return a strong core with Clark and Boston, and resigning Kelsey Mitchell, who is now an unrestricted free agent, will be a top priority this offseason. On October 28, the Sun announced they had parted ways with White, and it appeared to be an amicable separation. The Fever had reportedly been talking with White about taking over in Indianapolis, and she had also been in discussions about continuing her tenure in Connecticut. On October 29, White told ESPN, "It was not an easy decision to leave Connecticut, but I think the best one for my family and my career. It's meant a lot to me. I'm so grateful to Jen Rizzotti, Connecticut Sun president, and the organization. It's a top-notch organization. For me to be able to return to coaching, which I didn't know if it would be possible, with such a great team and coaching staff, it's meant a lot to me. At the end of the day, it's tough for me being away from my family. So from a professional standpoint and a personal standpoint, I feel like it's the best decision." Indiana is a familiar home for White. An Indiana native and 1999 Purdue graduate, White previously coached the Fever in 2015 and 2016. The Fever went 37-31 over that stretch, falling in the 2015 WNBA Finals to the Minnesota Lynx and losing in the first round of the 2016 playoffs. White also played for them from 2004. The opportunity to return to Indiana became official when the Fever announced they had fired sides after 2 seasons and a 33-47 record. After a 1-8 start, sides led the Fever back to the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Indiana was swept by the Sun in the first round. White also works as a college basketball analyst for ESPN and called some of Clark's games when she played at Iowa. Before the Fever played Connecticut in the May 24 season opener, Clark was asked what she thought of the then Sun coach. "She's obviously called a lot of my games all throughout college, and I think she has a really great basketball mind," Clark said then. "I think she's done a great job calling college games. It's been great to see her on NBA games. I think what she's done is she obviously has been a trailblazer. I think she's somebody who's been supportive of my game." The launch of the Unrivaled League is just 2 months away, and the league is doing what it can to lure some of the biggest WNBA veterans to the 3-on-3 outfit. However, it appears they aren't stopping there and are targeting the biggest name the WNBA currently has, Caitlyn Clark. With just 6 roster spots available in the new league, reports suggest the league is making a big push to land Clark. Sports Business Journal reports that Clark and Unrivaled have held talks and are reportedly offering the star more than $1 million, along with an equity stake in the league. This is more than what Clark currently earns while playing for the Indiana Fever, having signed a 4-year, $338,056 contract after being drafted. She made $76,535 during the 2024 season, which could increase to as much as $97,582 in the final year. Clark also has an endorsement contract with Nike, which is said to pay her $28 million over 8 years. Unrivaled's offer is all the more impressive when you consider that other players who have signed for the league will be earning $250,000 for 3 years, along with 0.5 equity. "We're always going to have a roster spot for Caitlyn Clark. We're not applying a full court press the way people think. We are letting her decompress from basketball. She knows that we have a spot for her when she's ready," Unrivaled president Alex Basil said in an interview. 3 days after parting ways with the Connecticut Sun, Stephanie White quickly landed on her feet with the Indiana Fever. "I am incredibly proud and honored to return home to Indiana and lead the Fever during such a pivotal moment in this franchise's history, as well as during such an important time throughout women's athletics," White said in a statement. "This franchise has and always will be committed to winning, and I look forward to working every day to help deliver another WNBA title to the greatest basketball fans in the world." ESPN's Alexa Philippou first reported the Fever had hired White as their new head coach after the team made its first playoff appearance in 8 years on the strength of Caitlyn Clark's debut season that earned her Rookie of the Year honors. Indiana had an opening at head coach after parting ways with Christy Sides on October 27. She went 33-47 overall in 2 seasons and led the team to a playoff berth in 2024. The Suns' decision to move on from White came as a surprise because the team was incredibly successful during her 2-year stint as head coach. She led them to a 55-25 record with back-to-back appearances in the WNBA playoff semifinals. Connecticut's 2024 season came to an end with an 88-77 loss to the Minnesota Lynx in Game 5 of the semifinals. Sun president Jen Rizzotti told Philippou the organization and White parted on good terms because some of White's decision-making process was not just about basketball. White, who earned Coach of the Year honors in her first season with the Sun, is returning to Indiana where she played 4 years of college basketball at Purdue and 4 years playing for the Fever from 2000 to 2004. After White's playing career ended, she moved into coaching. The 47-year-old's longest stint as a coach so far was with the Fever from 2011 to 16. She originally joined the team as an assistant on Lynn Dunn's staff before taking over as head coach in 2015 after Dunn retired. The Fever advanced to the WNBA Finals in White's first season, losing to the Lynx in 5 games. She left the team to become Vanderbilt's head coach after the 2016 season. Of the 7 head coaching vacancies in the WNBA this offseason, the Fever job was arguably the most desirable. They already have 2 young stars on the roster in Clark and Aaliyah Boston. Clark's impact on the offense was immediate, as they finished third in points per game and rating during the 2024 season. As long as the Fever can improve their defensive efficiency, they have finished in the bottom three in that category every year since 2017. They are going to have a path to being a title contender. In White's 4 seasons as a WNBA head coach, her teams haven't finished lower than 6th in defensive rating. Caitlyn Clark voiced her support for Jan Jensen by commenting facts on an Instagram post praising the new Iowa Hawkeyes head coach. Clark enjoyed a groundbreaking first season in the WNBA with the Indiana Fever in 2024, winning the Rookie of the Year award and making the All-WNBA first team. The 22-year-old's prodigious talent was clear for all to see during her college basketball career with the Hawkeyes between 2020 and 2024. Today, she is regarded as one of the greatest collegiate players of all time, and Clark still pays close attention to her alma mater. The point guard gave her thoughts on the Hawkeyes' new head coach appointment this week with a brief but powerful endorsement. With Lisa Bluder, the coach who groomed Clark into a household name, retiring at the end of last season, Jensen has stepped in to succeed the veteran. On Wednesday, Abby Emmert-Stampa, Jensen's assistant coach, dedicated a heartfelt Instagram post to the new head coach. She wrote, "This woman right here is leading at Iowa in the exact way that is right in college athletics. There is simply no one who cares about her players, staff, fans, department, and university more. Jan gives us everything she has, every single day. Jan Jensen in her best era." With Lisa Bluder, the coach who groomed Clark into a household name, retiring at the end of last season, Jensen has stepped in to succeed the veteran. On Wednesday, Abby Emmert-Stampa, Jensen's assistant coach, dedicated a heartfelt Instagram post to the new head coach. She wrote, "This woman right here is leading Iowa in the exact way that is right in college athletics. There is simply no one who cares about her players, staff, fans, department, and university more. Jan gives us everything she has, every single day. Jan Jensen in her best era." Clark simply commented underneath the post, "Facts." Her comment comes as no surprise given how close the WNBA #1 draft pick remains to the university. Last week, she returned to campus to observe some up-and-coming players. Cheering them on from the sidelines with old teammates Kate Martin and Gabby Marshall, she was seen celebrating a play by running around the court. Meanwhile, Jensen took charge of her first Hawkeyes match in an exhibition game on Wednesday at the Carver Hawkeye Arena, cementing a 110-55 victory over Missouri Western. Jensen shared her thoughts post-game, saying, "It is really the players. They just did such a really fun job tonight. I could not be happier. We did what we should have done. I see a lot of great things. I see a lot of stuff you have to work on, but that is pretty normal. That's what is so cool about staying in a state you love and getting to coach where I love to coach. I grew up here and there are a lot of lifelong Hawks and probably a lot of lifelong Jan fans. They've just been great. That is what I will remember about tonight." The new 3-on-3 basketball league is spearheaded by 2024 WNBA finalists Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier and will begin in January in Miami, before the 2025 WNBA season tips off in May. The new league will be contested by 6 teams, Lunar Owls, Laces, Mist, Rose, Phantom and Vinyl, across 8 weeks, including the playoffs, and was initially meant to feature 30 of the WNBA's biggest stars. However, ahead of announcing what was supposed to be the 30th and final player, Indiana Fever center Aaliyah Boston, Collier revealed Unrivaled was expanding to feature 36 players. "We're able to do this because we outperformed our financial projections, and so now we get to do something that we wanted to do in the future, which is give more people spots in Unrivaled," Collier, of the WNBA's Minnesota Lynx, said in a social media video. "This is such an amazing time in women's sports and we're so thankful to all the positive people who have come out and supported us." Unrivaled is backed by $100 million of TNT sports money, with more than 45 games set to broadcast in prime time 3 days a week. TNT will air games on Mondays and Fridays, while True TV will have coverage on Saturdays. It has already recruited stars like Reese, Brittany Griner, Kelsey Plum, as well as college basketball standout Paige Bookers. One superstar it is still yet to recruit is Caitlyn Clark. Clark became the biggest thing in women's sports last season after the Fever selected her with #1 overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft. The NCAA's all-time leading scorer, man or woman, picked up from where she left off in college, raining down logo threes en route to a Rookie of the Year campaign. The 22-year-old sharpshooter also smashed ticket and merchandising sales, and brought in record TV audiences while making the WNBA sponsors a boatload of money. Everyone is desperate to know if Clark will commit to Unrivaled. Front Office Sports recently reported that Unrivaled was set to table a Lionel Messi-like deal to Clark to entice her to join. She's yet to publicly announce her commitment, but Unrivaled president Alex Basil says she has a spot if she wants it. "We're always going to have a roster spot for Caitlyn Clark," Basil told Sportico. "We're not applying a full court press the way people think. We are letting her decompress from basketball. She knows that we have a spot for her when she's ready." He reiterated Collier's statement that the league was able to expand quicker than expected after outperforming early revenue projections. "It has allowed us a lot more flexibility," he said. "It allows us to bring in 6 more premium athletes who will also be part of the ownership group. It was strictly a business decision. As we make money, there will be more opportunities." Clark previously told ESPN she will not be participating in any off-season basketball. Instead, she'll be enjoying some much-deserved downtime and focusing on her other sporting love, golf. "It's gonna be nice, I think," Clark said in her Fever exit interview, "getting out of the spotlight and just getting to live my life and do things that I want to do." Pay has been a controversial topic in the WNBA for years now, something which Unrivaled has made its MO. The league will also offer big salaries to players, with each player receiving a minimum of $100,000 for the season, for a maximum total of 8 weeks of basketball. There will be an all-star event on February 10, as well as a one-on-one tournament featuring all 36 players. The winner will receive a $250,000 prize. To put that into perspective, Clark and Reese made around $73,000 each for the entire 2024 WNBA season. The latter claimed it wasn't even enough to cover her rent. Unrivaled 6-figure salaries are expected to be the highest average in the history of U.S. professional women's team sports. Crucially, players who joined the league will also receive equity in it, an issue set to be at the forefront of players' negotiations with the WNBA following their recent opting out of the Collective Bargaining Agreement, CBA. Clark has until November 20th to decide whether to play in Unrivaled. The entire list of 36 players will be announced at the deadline. If Clark does decide to participate, she will join Fever teammates Boston and Lexie Hull. Her Iowa Hawkeyes teammate, Kate Martin, now of the WNBA's Las Vegas Aces, also joined Unrivaled as the 28th player in the talent pool. The Indiana Fever hired Stephanie White as coach on Friday, putting her in charge of a team led by WNBA Rookie of the Year Caitlyn Clark. White spent the past 2 seasons as head coach of the Connecticut Sun before parting ways with the team earlier this week. The former star at Purdue served on the Fever coaching staff from 2011-16, including as head coach for the final 2 of those seasons. The Fever won the WNBA title in 2012 with White on the staff. "I am incredibly proud and honored to return home to Indiana and lead the Fever during such a pivotal moment in this franchise's history, as well as during such an important time throughout women's athletics," White said in a statement. "This franchise has and always will be committed to winning, and I look forward to working every day to help deliver another WNBA title to the greatest basketball fans in the world." White replaces Christy Sides, who led the Fever to a 20-20 record last season and the franchise's first playoff berth since 2016. The organization announced it was moving on from Sides, who was the head coach for 2 seasons before being let go last Sunday. Indiana is the first of 7 head coaching vacancies in the league to be filled. As we enter this new era of Fever basketball, I am thrilled to welcome Stephanie back to the franchise, Fever President of Basketball Operations Kelly Krauskopf said. "Stephanie is a part of the fabric of this franchise, both as a former player and as a member of our championship coaching staff, so I'm quite familiar with her elite basketball IQ and leadership style. I am confident there is no one who better understands our culture or is more equipped to lead our group of players to the next level."